making payments with the systems that they allow you to make payments with is part of their plan. And let's see how things play out. And I'll give you a lot of data as to why the process is going to happen. Okay?
I saw PARQ property advertising their properties in Bitcoin or Ethereum even. So is it just
here?
Or do they accept? Yeah.
Here?
Surprise.
They just don't know. They just don't know the laws well enough. There's many projects doing it, but like they haven't spoken to the Ministry of Finance. We're working with the Ministry of Finance, and we asked them, we're doing all this stuff, and they went, look, you can do whatever you want, but the moment you take a payment for a good or service now, what they're probably doing is they probably have it structured offshore, right? So when they're advertising something to you, you have to figure out where is it structured, where's the payment happening, where are the real estate and assets custodied, /held, /registered, almost. Or it might just be that they're not using the Indonesian structure. They're using a structure somewhere else, and you can pay it in Bitcoin, right? So there's ways of kind of getting around that, but yeah, it's not something. It's criminal. Yeah, it's like literally people are in prison right now as we speak for just paying for stuff in crypto, right? It's because the banks don't want that. Banks definitely, the richest people in the world who own the entire world, all of a sudden going to go, yeah, you know that functionality, don't worry about it. No, that's not going to happen, right? Or at least that's my opinion, that it's not going to happen.
Indonesia, which is just one country, and I think most countries don't have that.
Let's see in 2 years. I'm just reading the regulations that they're drafting and they're releasing, and they're telling us from the rooftops. I just read what they say and I go, I think this is what they're going to do because they're telling us, right? That's it. So my I don't know right or wrong. I'm just projecting according to what's being presented. Okay, we ready to go or what?
Yep.
Terima kasih. All right. Sorry, we're starting late. Okay, so let's hit. All right. Can we maximize this, please? Oh, like slideshow? Like right here? So what you do is you move the mouse. You move the mouse. Oh, you guys, don't worry about it. Just have it shown through the feed. I know you're trying to make it perfect, but it's okay. This is the first one. I appreciate you. All right. What is crypto? What the hell is crypto? Why is everybody nuts about crypto? Why are people getting so rich from crypto, right? In order for you to understand what crypto is, we have to understand the idea of value in this world. And it's really imperative because it's twisted. It's been controlled and distorted in a manner that we forget the idea of value. So what is value, right? Like to me, value is like hugs. I like hugs. When somebody hugs me, they show me love, and I'm like, wow, that's so nice. This person's so nice. Give them a hug. I show you love. You show me love. That's valuable. If I get to hang out with my friends, I spend time hanging out with my friends, it's valuable. Hang out with my family, valuable. We go to a place to have a nice meal. Oh, the value of that meal is amazing. We have to share a meal. I get to buy some good food and I feed it myself. I'm showing love for my body. It's value, right? That's value. Time is valuable. Connection is valuable. Love is valuable. These are the things we care about, right? Why do we work that hard? We work away from our loved ones for hours in a day, for years of our lives, so that we can go and do something that adds value to other people's lives. And those people have so much value added to their life that they're like, hey, here's some money. Here, like, you showed me love. You improved my life in this way. So here's some money back. Here's my stored up form of love, okay, that I got by adding value to somebody else's life. And here, I'm going to give you some money. And them giving you money is them giving you their love, right? You showed love to somebody by doing something to improve their life. And they gave you back money, which is their form of showing you love. So that money is a stored mechanism of love, right? And what we do is we take that money, which is love, and we store it somewhere so that later on, when we need to show love to ourselves, maybe I got to get a car, maybe I got to get a house, maybe I got to get food, I will take that stored form of love and I'll give it to somebody else, and somebody else I'll add value, be like, here's a bunch of love. I need XYZ love given to me. So they'll give it back to me. Or I go, I love my children. I got to feed them. I will take the money, and I will go give it to somebody who grew the food. And I'll go, thank you. I love you. Thanks for growing the food. Here's the money. Here's some love. Can you give me the food? and I take that food and I feed it to my kids. So I show love to my kids by being able to feed them because I have this stored form of love. So money is not the root of all evil. Money is a stored form of love. The quote is, the love for money is the root of all evil. The love for money, not money itself. Money itself is actually supposed to be a storage mechanism for love. Some of us are like, well, I'm working for this love, and I'm getting X amount of love. I'm getting $100,000 of love. I want to put it somewhere where it's adding value to people's lives while it's sitting there. And the fact that it's adding value to people's lives while it's sitting there, that will increase the amount of love that I'm able to give to these people, and those people will pay me back. That will grow the amount of money I have. That's the idea of investing. That I take my hard-earned love, I took my time and attention and energy, and I deployed it in adding value to people's lives, and then I took that love and then I put it somewhere else where I know this thing I'm investing in is adding so much value to people's lives that the people pay back into that system, and therefore my value goes up. And at some point, I get to take that value out of the system. Then I get to improve my life and quality, and I should get to show love to whoever I want. That's investing, right? But it's all based on the idea of value, right? What we do is like, that idea is so distorted because we're like, that means I need more of these numbers in my bank, right? Because that money is like just numbers in the bank. So we go, I need more of the numbers in the bank so that I can show this much love to myself later on, or I can give to my kids, or whatever your plan is, right? So then we get so focused on that number on the screen that we're like, I'm going to work 24 hours a day to make that number go higher. And as you're doing that, you're not spending time with your loved ones, you're not hugging your kids, you're not hanging out with friends, you're not having good meals. So the things that are actually valuable, you're not doing. And the number on the screen keeps going up. First of all, that's the trick in the game. And then the world that we come from the world that our parents and grandparents lived in was a world where they said, just make that number on a screen go higher. Skip the lattes, skip the dinners, skip everything, make that number go higher. Because in our parent generations, if they made the number go higher and they just put it into bonds, they were getting 15%. They just go earn something, put it somewhere, they'll give them 15% a year. You'll make a shit ton of money if you keep compounding 15% a year for 20 years. The millennial generation, they told us that, they're like, make the number go up. We went, okay, number's up. And then they're like, but life is so expensive. We go, okay, so number's down. We're having to spend all of our money. We don't even get the opportunity to invest it into assets which would go up and make money while we sleep so that we could get wealthy, okay? So let's look at how value was generated in that old world, okay? When you're thinking like, when you said make money, and I'm like, no, you take money. Let's think about who's making the money, right? Because the money gets created at the point where value gets added to somebody's life, right? Google gets all the money because Google set up a bunch of computers together and is answering questions for you. Those questions are so valuable to you that you give Google your attention, and Google monetizes it and turns it into money, okay? So back in the day, way back in the day, the main point of value generation, wealth generation, was farms. It was like the amount of land you own and the amount of food production on that land is how much wealth there is. Because you put the seed in the ground, that's the moment that value is created. And then when it comes out and you harvest it and give it to somebody, that's the moment that the value gets given to the person. 250 years ago, somebody came along and went, you own all of this land? The guy went, yeah, I own all of this land. I'm the richest guy in the area. And he went, great. I'm just going to take this much land and I'm going to put some machines on it. And that land, just this much, is going to be orders of magnitude more valuable than all your land. And the people went, you're nuts. You're nuts. For thousands of years, this land has been the only valuable thing out there because it produces food. You're telling me this little building with some machines inside of it is going to add more value to society? I'll believe it when I see it. Those people lived in the farming world while the Industrial Revolution came along and transitioned the value to goods and services, goods produced within factories. So factories became more valuable than the land. And the wealth transferred from the landowners to the factory owners. And that's the world that we've lived in. Then the internet comes along and somebody goes, you see this computer? Just like this much? This computer is going to be more valuable than all of your factories. And we all went, you're nuts. You're nuts. What, the A with the circle around it? The internet is just with A. I remember when, like in 1990, people were like, is the internet the A with the circle around it? And I was like, yeah, it is the A with the circle around it. It's one key on your keyboard that you can point to. But that one computer literally did add so much value to people's lives that the guy who owns that computer became a trillionaire, became a multi-hundred billionaire. And the guy who owned the factories became poor. And the guy who owned the land, oh, they just went right down. Their wealth transfer has completed, basically, right? So what was that computer? Like, why are we paying Google $1 trillion? Why are we paying Facebook $1 trillion? You see, value used to be, I will produce a good or I will perform a service in the world and you will pay me back. That used to be the value generation mechanism. You either got to create something or you got to provide a certain amount of services. The way the growth of that happened was like, I provide one service, then I can provide 2, then 3, then 4. And at some point, around like 10 services a day, I can't do anymore because I don't have any more time. So my peak is 10 services and I'll scale from 1 to 10 in a pretty linear way. And that's the growth of stuff. Goods, okay, we produce this many cars. We produce 100 today. Tomorrow we'll produce 102, 105, 110, 100,000, whatever. It'll go linearly up in a way. So the investment in those assets went up linearly, right? The internet was like, we're not producing shit. We're not producing anything. We're just hooking up the computers, okay? So like, let's use the example of Google. A bunch of guys went, I think it'd be a really smart idea to help people find information online. And we have this idea of an algorithm. It's called PageRank. And they just went to a computer, they programmed a bunch of computers together and said, if you go into this spot and you hit this search button, it does this thing that pulls out the right information and presents it to you. And then they presented it to the world and the world went, oh my God. I remember I was like 13 and somebody was like, Google. And I was like, oh, the best search engine. It provides the most accurate results. I instantly started using Google for everything, right? It added so much value to my life as a child that it's given me innumerable amount of education that millions of dollars wouldn't have bought, right? It did that to all of us. All of us started gaining value from this system by using it. And it's still just a bunch of computers some guy hooked up. But just the fact that billions of people can add value and gain value from it on a daily basis, multiple times a day, means like we got to pay these guys, right? Like they're paying for the computers, they're paying for the electricity, they're paying for the coders, they're paying for the marketing, they're paying for everything. So because you're adding so much value to my life, what we did is, and they figured out a genius system. They said, it's free. And we went, it's free? Great, add value to my life. It's free, fantastic. And so what they did is they went, okay, great. Now you're giving us the thing that is the most valuable commodity or thing on the planet is attention, human attention. You know, that thing that you could spend on your kids or you could spend on yourself or you could spend on all those things you love, you're giving us that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take your attention and take your data and take your knowledge and figure out a way to convert it into money, right? So we're paying them in the most valuable thing and they learned how to monetize it. But in reality, all it is a bunch of computers that do something to improve our lives. Like Google improves our lives immensely. I wouldn't have found my way here without Google, right? So that the world shifted in its value generation to mechanisms where you simply have to hook up a bunch of computers together that do something so good for people that people will pay a shit ton of money for it. So then like Facebook comes along and goes, we want to be the biggest social media company. You know how we're going to do it? We're not going to produce social media. Biggest social media company in the world doesn't produce social media. Biggest hotelier in the world, Airbnb, doesn't own any real estate. Biggest taxi company in the world doesn't own any taxis. Gojek doesn't own a single scooter. Okay? So what are they doing? Like, the guys who own stuff are poor, and the people who are just coming up with networks to make the owned stuff functional and doing it for billions of people are the richest people. So that's what the internet did. In reality, what the internet did is the internet shifted the way humans work. You know, the way work was done, I'm definitely putting a hole in this stage. Matt, I'm putting a hole in this stage by the end of the day today. Like, we gotta go 1/4-inch thick plywood across the whole thing, okay? Some stones underneath, like, yeah, I've been working out.
It's a powerful message.
I know, right? The ground is cracking. Right? The world used to be a place where work was done in a way where a human would call a human and say, hey, I need XYZ done. And the human would go, yep, 1 sec. Hang up, call another human. Hey, XYZ needs XYZ done. Sounds good. Okay, they hang up. Hey, we need da-da-da-da done. Oh, Jerry's not here. Okay, well, let's wait for Jerry to come. Okay, Jerry, we need this many pallets shipped. Okay, great. 1 sec. Goes and loads the pallets, puts it on a thing, and it goes across, right? That's how the world used to work. Somebody set up a bunch of computers and went, hey, you don't need Jerry, okay? You don't need Bob, you don't need Jerry, and you don't need Sim. They don't need to call everyone. I want something done. Click. Instantly, Sim's gets done. Instantly, Bob's job gets done, and then Jerry's job gets done, and then there's still somebody putting the pallet on, right? So we skipped all of that stuff and allowed work to be done instantaneously because the computers are there, right? Okay. So now that we understand what value is, and we understand that money is love, it's a storage mechanism of love. Gold is a storage mechanism of love. Crypto is a storage mechanism of love. What you're doing when you invest in all these things, and yeah, can we go to the next one? This is not financial advice. I always have to say this at least once to a room. If you lose all of your money by following this stuff, you will be amongst peers, where 90% of people do lose money on doing even the stuff that we're telling you. If you do it the wrong way, you will lose all of your money. The likelihood of you losing all of your money is much higher than you actually not losing money. Okay, unless you play the game right, and we'll go through why. So let's go next. This is me. This is what I look like when I smile. Let's go next. I'm not going to toot my own horn. We're late. So money as a concept is simply energy, time, and effort. Time, effort, and energy. If anything, you call it attention as like a singular focus, where we spend time, effort, and energy doing stuff that adds value to people's lives, and we give that to our kids, right? Let's go to the next one. So money has been stored in cloth, in leather, in gold, in paper, in shells. This used to be money. Africa, this was money. I don't even remember where, this was money. This has been a form of money for a long period of time. This was recently a form of money, ever since China did it like 3,000 years ago. This was in ancient times money. And people accepted it. As long as it's a stored form of love, they accept it. Can you go to the next one? If it has these properties, okay? So money, you just need to be able to divide it into little bits. It needs to last a long time. People need to accept it as money. You got to be able to move a lot of it, and it has to be rare. Okay, that's all that's required. If the thing is rare enough and it functions as a storage mechanism of this love that we're talking about, and other people are willing to accept that love, that's money, right? So the computers that were hooked up, that we just talked about, the way they were hooked up is very key, right? The way they were hooked up is Google guys came into a garage, hooked up a bunch of computers, programmed them, proved that they work. They started adding value to people's lives. Millionaires and billionaires were like, that's a genius idea. Here's a bunch of money, make it bigger. They made those computer networks bigger. But all it is Google owns a bunch of computers that do stuff, okay? Tinder owns a bunch of computers that do stuff. Facebook owns a bunch of computers that do stuff. Those companies own all of the computers, so then when the money needs to be paid, they get paid all of the money. This is the world that we've been living in, right? And we're told, go become an employee of that company for the rest of your life. Somebody came along and went, yeah, but like, you're telling us to do all this stuff, build companies and all these things, but they're printing money like it's going out of style. They're literally printing money like it's going out of style. So here's how actual money works, okay? We go spend our hard-earned lives to do something to get a small amount of money into our bank account. And the kleptocrats need money, and they just have a buddy at the Federal Reserve, and he has access to this computer. It's like it has a SQL, it has a data entry on it that says this person has XYZ amount of money. So he just goes in and types in a bunch of money into his friends' accounts effectively, and then just gives it to his friends. This is how the wealthy make money. You know, when we're saying they're borrowing money from the government, right? So what they're doing is just typing it into a system, and they're giving it to their friends, and their friends go and buy yachts with it, which I mean, that's not how it works. Wealthy people are wealthy for a reason. But their friends just take it, and they spend it, while the rest of us work harder and harder for it. And while they're doing that, whatever we even have accrued in the bank, they just printed a bunch. So they made my money worthless, right? If there's only $1 in the world, that $1 can buy the world. But if there's $1 trillion in the world, now the value of that $1 is lower. And if you just printed 10 trillion in the last 2 years, man, you took like 50% of the value that I have sitting in my bank. We just haven't realized it. We kind of have, like, look at flight tickets, look at everything becoming expensive in life. That's because they're printing money and they're doing all this stuff. So that's bullshit, right? Because, can we go next, please? Because we left the trust of the storage of my love. Because I was like, okay, I earned a bunch of love, dude, and I spent a lot of time for it, and I would love to leave this for myself and my kids. I need somebody to hold it for me so I don't get robbed. We trusted banks to hold it. And actually, the scam's even worse. The guy at the Federal Reserve types the number into a computer, hands it to his banker friends. His banker friends put it into their accounts, and then first of all, they go buy treasuries with it, but that's a separate point. Then they go, anybody want a loan? We go, yeah, I'll take a loan. And they go, great, how much you want? 100,000? Great. And they type in 100,000 into a computer, and they hit enter, and 100,000 appears. It doesn't come from a different account. It just pops into existence at that moment. And they go, here's 100,000, you owe us 103,000. And you're like, if you think about it, it's like, dude, you just made the money. You just created it. And I'm supposed to go find money from somewhere else and give it back to you for creating money? But that's how money works, right? And because of that, the pot is always just getting bigger, and it's all just debt, right? And the fact that the guy can just change the accounting book. What? Let us change the accounting book. We'll all be billionaires tomorrow, right? The banks can just change the accounting book. They can just type in 100,000 when they give money to me. That's stupid. That's so stupid. I'm definitely not going to be keeping my hard-earned love in a place where banks and institutions are controlling all of it. Hedge funds, your financial advisors, all those people, they put your money places where they make the most amount of money. Okay? You give your financial advisor $1 million, they'll make sure you only get the minimum return that you can get so that they can maximize their own fees. And they can do that very efficiently, right? That's why they're the richest people in the world. Pardon? Pensions, retirement accounts, sovereign wealth funds with all their money. Oh my God. It's a scam. It's a Ponzi upon a Ponzi upon a Ponzi. So the dollar is a Ponzi. Here's the fact. There's $300 trillion of debt in the world, but there's only $150 trillion. Wait, somebody's got to pay somebody back $300 trillion? And if you took all the money in the world from everybody, it only makes up half that? And we're working for it? We're all like, yeah, love it. I don't see any problem with this system, right? So anyways, it's us that gives it power. It's our belief that gives it power. So like our parents and grandparents' generations, they trusted that system because that system, it created this. That system works. Look around you. Metal tubes fly us from places to places, metal buildings. And we have magic at the tip of our fingers that allows us to run whole worlds with literally like this part of the thumb. We don't even use like this part of the thumb. We're literally just the tips of our thumbs are running the world. That's magic. This system created that world. So I get people are very attached to that system. It makes sense. It's worked for a long period of time. My generation, we came at the tail end of that. We built the tech, we did all this stuff, but we didn't get to access low housing prices and low bond prices and high bond yields and that entire prosperity growth curve that happened from 1950 until the 2000s. When we came in, all those things are expensive. We can't get houses. We can't get all this stuff. So one of us went. It's not one of us. It's the CIA or the Black Industries that did it, but I like to make up a nice, funny story. So to be like, one of us went, I'm going to make a new accounting book. Okay? That's an accounting book. Federal Reserve has an accounting book that has how much money somebody has in there. These banks are all accounting books that keep track of how much money everybody has. Okay? You guys are fudging the accounting book and you're printing money and giving it to yourselves. No. What we're going to do is we're still going to hook up a bunch of computers together. Same thing we did before, right? Same thing as with the internet deployment. But we're going to connect the computers in a different way. This is such a fundamental thing. You must understand this. Banzi, you got to be awake. Must understand this, bro. This is for you specifically. Okay. Yeah, A, B, C, or D. Pick one. Instead of one person coming up with an idea and setting up a bunch of computers and owning all the computers and running all the computers, adding value to people's lives, and when people pay, that one person takes all the money. That's the Google system. We said, we're going to connect computers together where you run one, you run one, you run one, you run one, and I run one. Okay? All of these computers have the same accounting book running on them. Okay? The banks are just an accounting book. We run the same accounting book in a digital fashion on all these computers. And all the books say the same thing. They say, you have 2 Bitcoin, you have 2 Bitcoin, you have 1 million, you have 1 million, and I have 1 Bitcoin. How you got it, that's a whole different story. But the point is, this accounting book says this is how much value we have. Nobody can change it. If I try to go into my computer and I try to change the accounting book to say, Sim has 1 million, your computers go, no, he's lying. All of our computers agree that he had 1, and he never sent it to anybody. He's lying. His computer is lying. Kick his computer off the network. So now we have a way of storing value and calculating value in a way that nobody controls, right? His is in Indonesia, mine's in Canada, his is in Ukraine, your guys' is in Mauritius, the computers, right? So this is a new way of connecting computers together. Who owns it? The people who own the coins, right? So then you think like, but still, what are these coins? Like, okay, I own the computer. I'm a miner. This is what mining is, where people are running the computer itself. They're solving a calculation to try to win Bitcoin, plus they're getting transaction fees from anybody who transfers Bitcoin. But it's like, what is this coin? What's the point of the coin? And all a Bitcoin does, literally the only functionality that Bitcoin has, is it pays for transaction fees to be processed. Right? Because what's going on is I'm running a computer. I'm paying for the computer. I'm paying for the electricity. I'm paying for the cooling. I'm paying for my time. I'm paying for the space. So somebody's got to pay me to run this thing properly, and more than the cost of what it costs to run. So when you transact a Bitcoin with somebody, you ask a computer, hey, can you send this Bitcoin to this person? Because they have an accounting book, right? And the computer goes, yeah, sounds good. 1 sim 0, 1 for you. Okay, +1. And for that work, computer goes, yeah, but give me a little bit of Bitcoin because I'm going to do the work for you. We go, okay, here's a little bit of fee, move the thing around. Now, when you actually think about like, but why do we want it? Because remember, they got an accounting book that they're faking, where I put in love, and I hope that I can pull out as much purchasing power or love or money later on, but they are taking away my purchasing power, so I'll be able to show my kids less love. That's a stupid system. This new accounting book, nobody can mess with it, right? Nobody can change it. When I store my value there, either it's going to be the same value that I put in today, or it's going to be worth more because people are going to want it more. Okay, so that's the idea of blockchain. The idea of blockchain is you set up computers in a way that all the people who run the computers and who own the coins are the ones who hold the value. So if the computer does more good stuff for the world, then the value of the token goes up. If the computer does less good stuff for the world, the value of the token goes down. But we win or we lose together. Okay, so that was a great idea. Because 2008 crash happened, 2009 Bitcoin gets released, and it was like, okay, well, you figured out a way to hook up computers together so they can't cheat. I can put my money somewhere. And then it's like, okay, but this is limited. We said, no, well, there's more. But you know how there's commercials, but wait, there's more. There's more. We're going to limit the amount of Bitcoins that exist. We're going to say only 21 million will ever exist. And today about 19 million are in circulation. So like, we love gold because it's limited and rare, and that's where we can put our money. But gold, like as the prices of gold go up, gold miners start mining more gold, so supply goes up too. With Bitcoin, as the demand goes up, it doesn't matter. Same amount are produced, and actually every 4 years, less get produced. Do we have a fan or something? It is, but we need like 6 of those, right? Thank you. So as the demand goes up, less and less is being produced. 900 were produced today. 900 will be produced tomorrow, mined into existence tomorrow. In 2024, 450 are going to start to get produced. We have a date. It's called a halving date. That's the date the code goes, half will start to get produced. And then 2028, 225 will get produced each day. And 2032, 112.5 will get produced every day, right? So the thing is getting more and more rare. And there's only 21 million of them. But there's 51 million millionaires in the world. So all the millionaires in the world could not take all of their wealth and buy 1 each. Okay, and this is something valuable, somewhere to put money and all this stuff, right? So one, they limited it. This was the accounting book part. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, so go back one, please. One, they limited it. Secondly, they said it's verifiably going to be produced at less and less rates every 4 years. Therefore, when something's becoming more and more rare and the demand is going up, the price goes up. Okay, that's what all the Bitcoin actually is just a entry on a digital book that says you have something, and the only function it serves is for you to store your love in a place where you won't lose all of it, And because of its rarity, because of this dynamic that I just explained to you, when the world wakes up to how valuable it is, it'll be worth way more in dollars. And at the same time, it's like the more dollars they print, the higher the price of it will go. That's it. Like if I tell you today, Bitcoin's worth $1 million rupiah, you will run out and buy it. But Bitcoin's worth $1 million. Oh no, that couldn't happen, Sim. There's no way it'd be $1 million. Yeah, it's because we're tied to dollars. At some point, million rupiah would have bought this whole place. And now this million rupiah doesn't even buy this table. Same rupiah, right? At one point, $1 million would have bought this place. Now $1 million probably just built this room. So it's happening live in front of us. Okay, so it's a new way of connecting computers together that do something for society, right? Any questions up until this point? You're like, you're not even talking about crypto, bro. You're just off in like other tangents. Like, I thought you were going to tell me which coins to pick today. So then somebody came along and went, let's go back one. Somebody came along, no, it's the next one. Next, yeah, right here. Somebody came along and went, wait. So this Bitcoin thing, you just connected a bunch of computers together. Yeah. And what do? They just the only thing they're allowed to do is they're allowed to hold the value and this accounting book, and they're allowed to run it, and they're allowed to move it back and forth. That's the only thing those computers do. So Vitalik Buterin comes along and he goes, hey, well, wait. Why don't you let me program these computers? Because you hooked up a bunch of computers together. Sure, it's in a new way. Instead of one person owning it, a bunch of people own it. But that's exactly how the internet works, right? So why don't you let me program these computers and run apps on top of them? And that was the idea of Ethereum. Because it's like, okay, well, we can hook up a bunch of computers. Last time, what did they do? They hooked up a bunch of computers at Apple, and they went, you can build apps on top. Great, and look at what it did. Each one of those apps is worth trillions of dollars, billions of dollars, whatever. So then Ethereum is a bunch of computers that are running an accounting book still of just how many Ethereum each computer has. They do it in a slightly different way, with some code running on top that lets you build apps on those computers. So now it's the internet. It's the next stage of the internet. The internet that we're used to is the internet where it's like, it's run on a big server that's owned by a company in the US called Amazon Web Services, Amazon. And what Amazon says, Amazon does. And Amazon says what the US says. And no matter where you are in the world, if you want to use their services, you're going to be beholden to Amazon's terms of services. And Amazon decides what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say. That's the world that we come from. This new way of hooking up computers together is like, where is Ethereum hooked up? It's over there. It's like, where is it? Everywhere. Which country? Every country. Whose jurisdiction is it in? Nobody's. Which country owns Ethereum? Okay? If I want to say something on this platform, who's going to stop me? Who's the actual, whatever. So what you are investing in, what we are investing in, is the next stage of the internet. Okay? It's a new way of hooking up computers together. Those computers do stuff the same way the old computers did stuff. And if you missed the internet bubble, if you were sitting there wishing like, I just wish I bought Twitter at $1, there's 1 million Twitters right in front of you right now, right? Because one app, is that your ringtone?
Sorry, right.
Dude, that's violent. All right. For Ubud, that's a heavy ringtone for Ubud, bro. Each one of those apps added so much value to people's lives that we know they're worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and we wish we bought them ahead of time. We just didn't understand that this is what was going on. That the internet was here to take over the entire world. Okay? I remember I became an electronics engineer and went, I missed that boat, but the next time the next wave of tech comes, I'm not missing that one. I'm going to see it early, right? So this is the next stage of the internet. This is us revolutionizing gold, revolutionizing banking, revolutionizing games, revolutionizing the universe. We're calling it the metaverse, and we're going to revolutionize the entire fucking universe, and we're going to control everything you see, hear, smell, taste, feel, exist, everybody you see, every single thing you own. I know these sound like big claims, right? But just look back 20 years ago, how much did the internet have? Today, everything is on the internet. And if you think this Was the process of the internet taking over? No, this was the process of internet just laying down the framework. Here comes the takeover. Okay, this is where it gets literally injected into your brains. And I'm really sorry to be reporting these news to you, but it's literally going to be injected into our brains to a point where we will see a hallucination of digital things in real life. That's called augmented reality, and it's coming. A step above that, our consciousness will be completely taken over to give us a matrix reality to exist within. That's why you will own nothing and you'll be happy, because in that world, you'll have everything. You can be whatever you want, okay? In that world, value needs to move instantly, automatically, without people, without jurisdictions. That's what we call smart contracts, all right? And then you're like, but Sim, that sounds horrible. Yeah, blockchain. There's your block, that's your cell block, and there's your chains that will love. We'll love this. We'll be like, yeah, let me, like, what did we do? You know, people like, internet's gonna take away privacy and all this stuff. We're like, yeah, I resist. And then we just went, here's an iPhone. And we went, I am not letting this thing go. Like, literally, if my phone's here and I end up being here, my anxiety level goes up the farther I am from it. Try leaving this venue without your phone, and by the time you get down there, you'll have heart palpitations like, somebody took my phone, right? It's because this thing is the transition of us from the real to the digital. Before this thing, digital was like, it was in like big bulky computers. Then they put it on our laps. Then they put it in our hands. Then they put it on our wrists. Now they're going like this. Pretty soon it's going to be like, this is what's going on in the world around you. And you know whose fault it is? Millennials. So we're like, okay, you made stocks, you made real estate, you made the assets, you made gold, you made derivatives, you put $1.2 quadrillion into it, mom and dad. You guys made a fuck ton of money and you got all this stuff. We don't have anything. You know what we're doing? We're making a new one. Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Oh. This is so nice. We're making a new one. We're going to put our love and value in a new place. And mom and dad are like, that doesn't make sense. We're like, that's why. That's why we're putting it there. And it's like, I want some. Click this thing and download the thing and verify and download the wallet and do it. And they're like, I don't understand. It's like, good. Now we'll make all the money. Like, sick of you guys getting rich and like us having no opportunity and options. We're going to revolutionize the entire world. We're going to revolutionize the entire world. Every single thing you know will not make sense in this new world. Every single thing you know. And this is a huge process of unlearning everything that we've learned in this old world. Trust me, I'm from India. I was born in an auto rickshaw, lived in a mud house where we rubbed mud on our walls. I came from the streets, right? But it was constantly me unlearning everything. And if you can't unlearn and relearn everything you know within 5 years, you're going to be the illiterate of going forward. So that's why what you need to understand is there's a shift going on, a transition going on in the way that we connect up computers, in the way that we hook up the internet, in the way that we own it, in the way that we develop it, in the way that we build it, in the way that we see it, in the way that we experience it, all of it, okay? So now, let's get to the next one, please. No, break time. Bitcoin is the storage of, ooh. Do we have audio? Next time, I want to do this presentation. Do we have audio on it? No? No, let's skip. Go to the next slide before the image appears. Go to the next slide. Damn it. It's a little child. It's a little like 5-year-old explaining Bitcoin better than anybody's ever explained Bitcoin, even me. Okay, so I let the 5-year-old explain it, but we don't have the audio, so we'll show you guys one of the other times. Yes. It's just so valuable and it's just so cute that I feel like we need to do it. So we figured out a new way to store value, and we're putting it in places which are hard for everybody to get to. And we've been doing that for the last 10 years. Okay? Secondly, we are inventing the next stage of the internet, and we're investing in it, and we're creating the new paradigm of society. you have the vape?
You have the vape?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, that was a good remix right there.
Bitcoin is Bitcoin is that he, which means you don't need a bank. They will only be anyone ever and old.
Audio cut out. Your speaker's dead. It's okay. So it's so cute. It's such a good description.
You can look in YouTube. What is the
No, it's not even on YouTube. You had to like pick it from somewhere. No, it's on YouTube, but okay, let's we can find it. So, no, actually, it is on YouTube. We figured out a new way to hook up computers together, guys. That's it. At the most simple base layer, blockchain means to hook up computers together in a new way, where they're hooked up by a bunch of people, and those people get coins, which are normally the coins that you use to be able to use the computers. So those coins are an ability to be able to use those computers, right? So we buy these coins going, you know what? This computer that you hooked up, it does something, and that thing that it does is so valuable to society, or I think it's going to be valuable to society, that I'll buy some today because I think society is going to wake up to this value later on, right? People didn't wake up to the value of Amazon until 2000 something. And in 1999, Amazon was at like $100 something, and then at 2001, it went to $5, 95% down, and then it went from $5 to $1,300, $2,600, right? Because the world woke up to the value of Amazon later on. That's where we are today. Can we go to the next slide? This is who owns it. Next, please. Okay, so we'll talk about this in a bit. So when you're buying crypto, you're either buying one of the coins that allows you to run the computer system itself. That's like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Polkadot, Avalanche, Cosmos. They're all computers they're all different sets of computers that people have hooked up at some place. All of them do something, and they're programmable. Now, all of them are the same thing. They have an accounting book running, and all of them are programmable to run apps. So when you buy these things, what you're buying is a base layer of the computer system, right? It's like owning literally a piece of the internet, a share of the internet. It's just the internet's run on their computer system, right? Then other people are building apps on top of those computers. They're called dApps, right? So when you buy a coin to a dApp, you're basically buying a share of an app that's being built. So this base understanding is really important, because then when you buy stuff, you have to go like, well, what does it do? Right? Like, I'll tell you, I got this computer. I want $1 million for it. And you'll be like, what does your magical computer do? I'll give you $1 million if I know that computer is going to add $10 million of value to somebody's life. I'll give you $1 million for that computer, but what does that computer do? And I'll be like, nothing. And you'll be like, well, I'm not paying you shit. Your computer's useless, right? So if you haven't even asked the question about what this coin does, you're completely missing the point. You're going to lose all your money. The second question you got to ask is, where's the money coming from? Where is the money coming from? Right? Because what happens in crypto is like, buy this coin. Why? It gives you 80,000% returns. 80,000% in a year? So you're telling me I can turn $1 million into $100 trillion in like 2 years? More than the money supply, mathematically speaking? And they go, no, don't buy it. Just buy it. Look at how many people are getting rich off of it. And you go, okay, where's the money coming from? And if you cannot answer the question of where the money's coming from, it's coming from you. This is a rule of investing. If you can't tell me where the money's coming from, it's coming from your pocket. You're in a Ponzi scheme, okay? Because what people did is they went, great, there's this new stage of the internet coming, there's all this money sitting here. We're just gonna make a coin, and when people go, what does it do? We go, it's a decentralized, cryptographic blockchain that improves the efficiency of payment services for providers on an international and corporate scale. And you're like, I think that was in English, but can you repeat that? And they'll tell you again, and you'll be like, I still don't understand what this thing does. Okay? And almost certainly, when you ask, what does it do? You'll be like kind of iffy. Then you go, where's the money coming from? And they're like, yields. Okay, that's a scam. Okay? Because what ends up happening is we have 20,000 cryptos today. 15,000 of them are legit scams. They're like custom built scams. They're perfectly built to be scams that depend on you not understanding what's going on for you to invest money into so they can take all of your money. About 25% of the crypto space isn't scams, isn't outright scams, but they're probably going to lose a lot of your money. There's only about like 10% of the crypto space that's actually these functional computers and things that I'm talking about that are going to change the entire world, right? Like in 1999, there were a million companies saying we're going to do a million different things and we're going to revolutionize things. And then the 2001 crash happens and 90% of those companies died and only 10% survived. Out of the 10% that survived, 10% of those, so 1% of those total companies took over the entire world. They became the Googles and the Amazons and all this kind of stuff, okay? So we are in the next stage of the internet. What we're trying to do is we're trying to buy solid shit. We're trying to buy stuff where we go, okay, well, I'm buying this thing because the world is seeing it as gold, and it's proven to be a solid form of storage of money. As a matter of fact, it's valued at $1 trillion today. I'm talking about Bitcoin. It's like 1,000 billion dollars. It's valued at $1,000 billion. Okay, this must be a pretty safe place for me to put my money, because if somebody put $1,000 billion into it, I'm sure they did, 40 cents of research before they did that, right? Oftentimes, you don't understand what the thing does well enough, and it still looks really good. Like Luna. Luna was like, oh my God, they hooked up a bunch of computers together and they attached this stablecoin to it. And the stablecoin's giving you 20% yields on just putting your cash there, a risk-free 20%. And when people came to me and I was like, where's the money coming from? Nobody could explain that to me. And I was like, I'm not touching it. And then you figure out that there's a hack built into that system that Wall Street could hack. But it looked like it was a solid system, and people went and bought it and put all their money into it. And those people looked like they were making so much money. I remember I was like sitting there in my like risk balanced portfolio, and they're crushing it, And I'm like, take the money out. And they're like, no, it's going to the moon. And guess where it went? It went underground, right? It went to the center of the earth. So if you don't understand this game from this very fundamental level, you will lose all of your money. Because this game is the game of bringing people in who don't know what they're buying and what it even does and when to buy it and when to sell it, and then getting them to buy it when you should not buy it at the top between October until December last year, and getting them to hold it, and it goes down 80%, and they don't realize I'm holding an Amazon that, it might go down 80%, but then it goes 50,000% up on the other side, and they're going to wait until it's lower, and then we're going to get them to sell it back to us. And that's how we're going to take all of their money, okay? So we understand that value is love. Value is love. You showing love to others and adding value to their life. And then money is the storage mechanism of love that comes back. Crypto is also a storage mechanism of love, and it's actually the best storage mechanism of love we've come up with, because governments can't change that accounting book. Nobody can change that accounting book. It's a reliable place. So then where is it? So even beyond just being this, it's a new asset class. Okay, up until now, like back in the farming days, land, money were the only asset classes that existed. Land and precious metals, aka money, aka gold, aka whatever, right? 200 years ago, 250-ish years ago, the Dutch came along and built the East Dutch India Company, and they created a company where people could put money into this structure called a company and pool money together, and the company would go do stuff, and the hope was if this company makes way more money than we put in, then this structure grows in value, therefore we all make money. Okay, that idea turned into equities or stocks. That became a new asset class. Because an asset is like I put money somewhere so that it grows my value. It goes and adds value to people's lives in a way that later on it grows in value. So that invented the asset class of stocks. Commodities kind of have been an asset class the whole time, sure. Yeah, like, gold and rice. And commodities is the only real asset class, actually. It's the only one that actually exists in this world and adds value to people's lives physically. And then somebody came along and started making bets on the prices of things going up and down, and that created an asset class called derivatives. Okay? And if you don't know what derivatives are, if you took all of the value in the world, and we'll do this presentation so you visually see it, if you took all of the value in the world, all the real estate, all the money, all the stocks, all the everything, all the shoes, all the gold, all the everything, took the total amount of value and you put it on one side, it comes out to be about 600 something trillion dollars. Derivatives, the bets that are being made on this process is about $1,000 trillion. So all of the value in the world is less than the casino making the bets on the price of those things going down. Okay, so this is how this world works. My generation were like, we're making a new asset class. We're making a new asset class. It's going to be called crypto. It's going to be all digital. We got a new digital gold. We got a new digital internet. We got new banking. We got new whatever. We're building a new YouTube and we're building new everything. We're making our own, okay? And we're inventing a completely new asset class that is the combination of technology and commodities and everything, stocks. We're combining all of those things and putting it into our new asset class. And this isn't like my generation was like, we're going to save the world, we're going to do this. We're like mostly full of idiots. But like this is how the world transitions. If you haven't watched my crypto cycle talk, I'll redo it here again. But please watch that talk because it really explains the cyclicality of history. And we are in a point where we are transitioning from this old world to this new world, right? What's actually going on in the financial world is the wealth is transferring from people who are in the old world to the people who are in this new world, right? And this new world, it doesn't belong to a country. It doesn't belong to a physical space. It doesn't have entities that are from a certain jurisdiction. It is completely global. Where is crypto? Global. Where are these DAOs and companies? Global. Which jurisdiction can touch them? Ideally none. They'll figure out ways to regulate it, but ideally none. Who is it? Who's championing it? The World Economic Forum and the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, United Nations, European Union. Okay, so like these are not countries anymore. Where we're stuck is the currencies owned by countries that protect us as citizens. Anybody got protection during COVID? No, I got an email from the US government saying your rights have been canceled. Find your own way back to the US. We are not going to send planes to pick you up. As a matter of fact, everybody from the embassies already went home with their families. That's the message I got as an American being in Indonesia. They're like, good luck, everybody's going to die. You better make your own way back. All right? So that's how much my country cares about me. The richest country in the world and supposedly the most powerful country in the world, right? But this new system that we're inventing is giving you the opportunity. Is like, do you want the future of gold before everybody realizes it's gold? Bitcoin. You want to own some of the internet? Buy some Ethereum. You want to buy an app that does something amazing, that stores videos or stores files or whatever? Buy that app. Go right ahead. But we're like, no, but I like living in the world where my number on a screen is like level. My mom said, make that number go up at all times. Do everything to make sure the number doesn't go down. And I like the number. I like the number stable because when that number goes down, I have less money. I'm worth less. My net worth is less. I have less power, less purchasing power. I'm more anxious. I'm nervous. I have to work harder. I spend less time with my family when that number goes down. If it keeps going down lower, I start crying. I guess at some point I go into depression and commit suicide. That's that number on a screen, right? Whereas my generation's like, I don't even have that many numbers on a screen, all right? I'm taking all my numbers on a screen and I'm putting it into this thing because this seems like this is the next stage of the internet. So their numbers on the screen get put into crypto and they watch their crypto. Like us crypto heads, when it goes down, we just laugh. It's like 50% down. 50% down. You bleeding? McDonald's, bro, McDonald's. And we're just like joking with each other about losing half of your net worth. Because we know like the number on my crypto portfolio is not how much money I have. The number on my crypto portfolio is not how much money I have, right? Let me give you a different example. You have $100,000 in the bank, legit. You buy 50,000 ounces of gold, 50 ounces of gold, right? How many ounces of gold do you have? 50. Now you have a number that says 50, and it says 100,000 valuation today. Tomorrow I wake you up and go, hey, look at the number. It's worth 50,000 today. And you go, how many gold bars do I have? 50. Okay, I haven't lost any gold yet. And the next day I go, it's worth 200,000. You go, that sounds nice, but like, this is gold. I still got my gold, 50. Number still says 50. And then it goes, it's worth 0. And you'll be like, you're an idiot. This is gold. Okay, you can tell me it's worth 0 today, but I still got my 50 ounces of gold. And then one day I go, it's worth $500,000. You go, you want the ounces of gold? And you hand me the ounces of gold. You're like, now I put in 100 grand and I made 500,000. The only time that number at the top matters is when you sell it. But we're stuck to the safe world though, bro. I want the number high, reliably. I want a certain amount of money coming into my pocket consistently. I want to put it into real estate that gives me 6-7% returns in a year, and I'm happy to double my money over 14 years. You know, that's the world that we come from. But your money's not safe with the bank. You do realize that's not your money. That is not your money. You know the paperwork that you signed when you signed up with the bank? You know what it says? It literally says, you are giving us an unsecured loan. An unsecured loan is, you're giving us a loan that is backed by nothing, uncollateralized loan. And we promise we'll pay you back this amount. It's an IOU. We take your money, which is a liability for us. If I just hold on to it, it's not making me any money. Why would I hold a bunch of money when it's not making me money? They turn around and they buy treasuries with it, which is debt from the government. And the government gives them a small percentage return, okay? When you're like, I want my money back, and they go, whose money? I'm like, my money. They're like, excuse me, sir, you mean you want our money back that we promised to pay you? And you go, yeah. And they go, okay, well, we got to sell the treasuries and convert it into cash and bring it to you, okay? That money's not in the bank. It's been turned around and it's been invested into a government. And if that government goes down, your money's gone. But even more than that, if the banks have made so many stupid mistakes and so many stupid investments, this is what happened in 2008. They over-leveraged themselves in the housing market. And then one day you go to the bank and you're like, where's my money? Like, if you're Russian, any Russians in here? There we go. It's nice to have some Russians at PARQ. But it's like, if you're Russian, everything is fine until one day Biden goes, we don't like Russians. And they go, oh, guess what? All of your money's gone. All of your money's gone. All your yachts are gone. All your real estate's gone. All your holdings are gone. All your gold is gone. Every single thing that you have. Sorry, that accounting book said you own it. This guy over here said, we don't like Russians anymore. We just changed the accounting book and we took all your money. This is going to happen to all of us. We're about to get Russianed. I'm coining this term and I hope it like outlasts me, but we're about to get Russianed. You know, and none of us flinched. We didn't even flinch. They went, we're taking everything from Russians. And you went, which smoothie bowl am I going to eat? Okay, in Canada, I'm from Canada. One of the safest places to be, right, Matt? When we were there, it was like Canada, bro. It's like, it's the champion of low corruption, fairness, healthcare. Canada, the land of freedom, right? Some people were protesting, not liking being stabbed with something. I don't know, it's kind of weird. And then some other people were like, here's $1 to support you legally. It's a legal protest, legal support with $1. The government was like, we don't like that. Retroactively, so created a law, retroactively applied it, and turned that into an act of terrorism. Went to each one of those people's bank accounts, froze them, took all their funds, froze their crypto accounts, took all of their crypto in Canada. You didn't even know this happened, right? Yeah, exactly. I was like, you have a shock on your face. I was hoping I'm delivering this to somebody who's new. But they took all the money from the Canadians. Like $1. I literally just gave $1, dude. And you take my entire bank balance? You can even do that? You can retroactively create laws that take all my money? The Canadians got Russianed. If you don't think it's coming to a country near you, go and Google bank bail-in, okay? Type in bank bail-in and type in your bank name, and somebody somewhere has done the research to show you, hey, here's the phrase that says that they're going to take all your money the next time this happens. Even more than that, you think, no, I have FDIC insurance up to $250,000, or I have Euro insurance up to $100,000. Great. The FDIC has $89 billion in its bank account. It is covering $10 trillion of bank accounts with $89 billion. That's your insurance. Here's the kicker. When this happens, the FDIC is the mediator between you and the bank. They're even rubbing it in. They're like, oh, you know these people who are supposed to give you your money back? As a matter of fact, they're the ones you got to deal with so they can tell you you're not going to get your money back. Okay? This is coming. So you can sit in this old world. It's safe. Your number looks like it's good. Your number says $100,000. They printed 80% of the money supply, so your number actually should say $20,000 of purchasing power, of love, but the number says $100,000. Okay, and you can be happy with that, and you can sit there until they bleed your number, and eventually they'll just be like, give us the number. They're literally going to even take that number, right? And this is how the world works. And if you think like this couldn't happen, go back and watch our cycle talk. You were the same people who thought in the 1920s, our gold in the bank is safe. Money was gold. They put it all into the banks. And then 1931, the US president was like, gold is illegal to own. We are taking all of your gold. The banks are closed. You're not going to get your gold back out again. And people ran to the bank trying to get their money out. And the government had guns and went, whose money? Our money. Okay? And then they threatened the entire world and took the entire world's money, gold. And then they went, now you all are going to connect your currencies to the US dollar, and the US dollar is going to be connected to gold. And everybody went, okay, fine, you got the guns, like, as long as it's still tied to the gold, we're cool. 1971, they're like, it's not even tied to the gold anymore. What are you going to do? And we're like, nothing, you got all the guns, bro. Like, what should we do? They said, just keep on keeping on. You guys keep going. Because now we can print as much money as we like and give it to our friends and get as rich as we want. This is why the US is rich. And you guys figure out your game, right? This time around, they're going to do the same thing they did with the gold. They're just going to do it dollars in the bank account, okay? So crypto is my generation's way of escaping the collapse of that entire world and going to a place where, yeah, when we get in, it's like you get in, 10% down, 20% down, 30%, 40, 50, oh my God, right? And then it goes 5,000% up, 10,000%, 50,000% up. And then we go, most of us go 50,000% up, yay! 80% down, 90% down. But you just went from, a place to 50,000% up, and you went down 90%, which means you're 5,000% up from where you started. But that volatility is so nauseating that people can't handle it. It's because you don't know what you bought, right? You're like, this computer thing, you're probably like, oh, thank you for telling me that they're just computers. Now I get when I'm buying stuff, I'm buying the computers or I'm buying a share of the app or whatever. When you know what you bought, when this happens, we just go, can I buy some more? Like, do I have more money I can put into this? Because things are at a discount. All the solid stuff is at a discount. And this is what the smart money is doing as we speak. They've been doing this for the last 2 months. They have been funneling money into the crypto space in the background. When you look at the on-chain metrics, you can see it, while the rest of us are running, right?
But then don't we get blocked and chained?
Good question, right? This is I love this. So don't we get blocked and chained, Sim? You get as blocked and chained as you let yourself get, right? Because here's the thing. There's a burning ship that we've been on for 100 years. It's called the US dollar-based Bretton Woods system. It has built an amazing ship, but that ship is sinking. And I got to go somewhere to make sure I don't burn down with the ship. Okay, well, there's a ferry, there's a boat that says going to prison, or there's a burning boat. Are you burning alive, or are you getting on that ferry? Okay, for me, I'm like, I'm gonna get onto the ferry first, so I don't burn alive. Gives me more time to figure out how to like not get destroyed. It's going from here to the prison. It's gonna take 10 years for it to really get to the prison. Great, I'll get on, and I'll build something on the ferry, so before it gets to the prison, I have an exit, right? So in realistic terms, here's what we're doing. We're saying we are protecting our wealth from the old collapsing system, and we're bringing it to this new system. This new system is a block and a chain for people who don't have money. This system is here to block and chain people who don't have money. When you have money, you can't be blocked and chained. There are no lockdowns, there are no laws, there's nothing. I know people who flew into Indonesia the middle of PPKM1 lockdown. They paid $30,000 for a visa, and they flew on a $70,000 flight on a private jet, and they did not even have to. They didn't have to look at the airport. Legally, they entered this country and they left in the same day, without ever wearing a mask in their entire life. Right? If you have money, it's not. This is the method to freedom. So let's discuss that. What is freedom? My idea of freedom is I get to do whatever I want, whenever I want, wherever I want, with whoever I want. Right? That's my idea of freedom. Okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to block my freedom? You're going to take all my money? I got it somewhere else, bro. It's right here. Okay?
Right, it's in the blockchain.
It's in the blockchain. So then how do you draw the freedom out and turn it into real stuff? And we're going to talk about that, not this time, but this is where we take this narrative over the long term. You are getting blocked and chained in this new system if you don't know how to use it. Right? Like, for some people, internet became slavery, and for some people, internet became freedom. For some people, it became both. A lot of people, right? Who are the people who gained freedom out of it? Me? Social media? Never. Not never. Like, I used to, and I just gave it up. No social media. Netflix? No. Waste my time with random news? No. Learn stuff, grow my skills, understand how to generate value for people's lives, and maximize that and optimize it, and do inner work and healing and knowledge from amazing people? Yes. I took that part of the internet, and this is where I am, from a mud house. I'm standing right here explaining to you how to make money. Right? There's other people who were given all the resources in the world, and they handed them the internet, and they drove their life down into a depressive, drug-induced state. So some get blocked, some don't get blocked. This is why I'm actually inceptioning this idea into your head that, like, if you don't understand the game that you're playing, you're headed to a prison. So here's the way that I'm doing it, okay? I want to change the world. I want to change the world 100% fundamentally. And the way that I do it is I change individuals in the world. And I change their psyche, right? And their capacity to be able to perform in the world. In order for me to change the world, like, I can't help the poor by being one of them. That's just a fact of life. So in order for me to help the world, I have to figure out a way to get the people that I love and that I know are the people who are going to do with the world what I want. I'm taking those people and I'm transitioning them through this wealth transfer part so that they don't lose all of their money, so that on the other side they have a shit ton of money. So then, you know what we're going to do? We're going to change the world because we have money, and we're going to give it to projects. It's like, okay, like, you don't have whatever. You're building this new way of structuring society, and you don't have funding. Guess what? We got 20 revenue streams making money. We'd be happy to give you 10%, right? And we're feeding into projects by giving it to them, not by investing it. You invest to take money, right? If you want to change the world, you give the money. So I'm taking the money from that system. I'm like, literally, they said metaverse, and I got 2 headsets. They said crypto, I put everything into it. They said, I realized all this stuff's happening. I'm going deeper into their system as much as I can and learning it and benefiting from it, so I can sit there with a bucket. When their money comes in and fills up my bucket, I take my bucket and I take some of it and I go do this, go do that, go do that. Right? For example, like, we have a farm up north that we're buying that is going to be accessible to people to be able to enter, has food, water, shelter, love, community, security, all of it. That's true freedom, right? Doing whatever you want, eating food that's grown out of the ground that they can't touch you. So I can't do that until I pull money out of this system. So yes, it is here to block you and chain you, just like the internet was here. But how long did it take? 20 years? In those 20 years, you had a lot of game to be played. And the freedom is having the wealth to be able to do whatever you want. Hopefully that answers your question, right? So now, I'm not going to go down this. This presentation was for a different meeting, but does that make sense? We're buying computers and apps that do shit. What's probably going to happen is you're not going to buy it today. Because when you ask your friends, they go, you don't understand. This person lost so much money. You know, don't buy this thing. When in actuality what happened is their friend probably bought something and they bought a certain amount of those gold coins, and then the dollar denominated value of those coins are down. So they're telling you this person lost this much money. No, bro, they've never made the money. Right? This is what we're talking about, right? Get in, it goes up, you feel like a king, you start imagining the millionaire lifestyle because the number says $1 million, and then it goes down. And the number says like 100 grand, and I just put 100 grand in. You didn't lose $900,000. You just actively didn't lose the $100,000 that you put in, right? So in this time, there's this narrative of like, everything's crashing, everything's going to shit. Revel in these times. These are the times where I just go full beans into crypto. And I'm like, everybody hates it? Everybody's scared of it? Great. Would you like to give me these things at 90% discounts? 95% discounts? Please do, because I'll buy them, right? On the other side, the adoption of these technologies does not happen in a linear fashion. It doesn't go the value of these things don't go 1 to 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, like companies in the old world were valued. The value of these things go 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, million, 10 million. It's because they're growing on an exponential logarithmic curve, okay? In that process, you're going to have crazy ups, crazy downs, crazy ups, crazy downs. But over the long term, even if you just held it, you would be making money, okay? The other problem is when it's the wrong time, your friends are going to come to you and go, buy crypto now. When your friends are all telling you to buy crypto, it's late. Because what they do is they buy the crypto, they make money in crypto, and then they come tell you, look at how much money I just made in crypto.
It's not even the friends, it's the mainstream media.
It's everything. It's, yeah.
People that watch the mainstream media are then saying to you, crypto is not a scam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what they're saying on the mainstream media.
So, what you just said is, yeah, it's the mainstream media. And that's the thing. Mainstream everything sucks, right? That's why this stuff, you won't find on YouTube. I don't even put it there. If you want to find me, you got to know somebody who knows somebody, and you got to get a link to a group. And inside of that group, if you're like recommended by somebody who we really like, you will get access to these things. Because social as a concept has been completely bastardized. It has been weaponized across the world. I'll give you an example, okay? In China, TikTok shows engineering videos to their kids. In the US, TikTok shows dumb dance videos to their kids. You want warfare? That is long-form warfare. You make their kids idiots and you make your kids engineers. Give me 20 years and watch. And look at what China's done, right? So, why are we buying this stuff? And what should we buy? Let's get to that, right? 15,000 out of 20,000 are scams. So if you just threw a dart at a crypto table, you're almost certainly going to land on a scam, okay? Here's how you mitigate investing in scams. One of the methodologies. There's 20,000 cryptos out there, okay? The top 100 are worth $1 billion or more, somewhere close to $1 billion or more. That means there's $1,000 million of perceived value in there. That's $1 billion, right? If I just buy the stuff in the top 100, I know somebody spent $1,000 million, or just for idea's sake, there's not actually $1,000 million in there, but like there's $1,000 million of perceived value in there. Somebody's done the research to pick that this is not a shit coin, right? So just that will bring your entire investment opportunities down to 0.5% of the market. That increases your likelihood of not picking a scam. The problem is those cryptos only make you like a 20x within 4 years. Wait, did you say they only make me a 2,000% return in 4 years? They 20 times my wealth within 4 years, but I gotta wait 4 years? Yeah. You could have to wait 4 years. But my friend bought this. It's a dog with ears. She got so rich. I want that. How quickly did she get rich? Like this. It was literally like she put it in and then she snapped her fingers and she got so rich, right? But what you're actually saying is your friend put money somewhere, it went up, she snapped her fingers and she took all that money from other people. You never hear the story of the people on the other side, that 1,000 people lost $1,000 each so that she could make $1 million. So the likelihood of you being one of those 1,000 people is way higher than you being that one person, okay? And when you do this risk range analysis, you'll notice, you'll be like, what did she buy? Oh, she bought this XYZ coin. And you go, oh, that coin's only worth like $50 million? It's $50 million project? Okay, well, that means there's realistically like $20 million of money in there. I mean, $20 million sounds like a lot, but it's not very much to spend on research. That's risky. What does it do? I don't know. Where's the money coming from? I don't know. And it's like, yeah, no thanks. I don't want to get super rich like my friend. I just want to learn how not to get poor for the rest of my life. Okay? So just picking out of the top 100% range as a beginner is really, really, really useful. Okay? When you're picking out of that range, then you think like, okay, well, I think he said there are a bunch of computers that are running, and the coin you buy is from the computers, right? A bunch of them are the computers. We call them layer ones, Ethereum, even Bitcoin counts as a layer one. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, Cosmos, those are the biggest ones out there. They're the bunch of computers that are running. So you pick a few computers that you're like, these are going to be good computers, okay? And you buy them. And then be like, okay, well, if there's apps running on top, I want some apps. Like right now, metaverse and gaming is pretty hot, so I pick some like metaverse and gaming apps, and I buy their coins, put them onto the thing. And then you're like, well, maybe I'll take a little bit of banking, maybe I'll take a little bit of data, maybe I'll take a little bit of these different sectors that exist. I'll build a portfolio like I traditionally would, lock it, and put it there, right? Now, your thesis is when I buy something, it goes up. That's the only reason we buy it, right? Now you've bought it, you've committed, and you've bought solid shit. Now when you buy it, it's either going to go up in value or it's going to go down in value. What you do is the moment you put it there, you go, it's gone. In your mind, psychologically, energetically, just do the exercise of like, it's gone. That money's gone. I don't have it anymore. And as a matter of fact, I'm not going to ever have it. In simple terms, it's like, yeah, within like 3-4 years, I'll have shit tons more money than there. That's the part that your brain's if you understand this right, the back part of the brain's gonna be like, nah, you did that because we know how much money it's gonna make. But the front part of your brain's gonna be like, it's gone, right? You leave it. If it goes lower, you set a price alert saying like, I bought it at 1,000. Once it comes back to 1,000, let me know. I'm gonna go live my life. Okay? It crashes. Oh my God, did you hear it's crashing? This person lost so much money. And you go, good for them. I'm living life. I'm on a beach sipping coconuts with my loved ones because that's the whole point of this thing. And then it'll crash, blah, 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 blah. It'll go through the whole process. A year later, your price alert's going to trigger. It's going to say, hey, the thing's back up to $1,000. And you go, great. 1, I'm happy I was holding solid stuff because it's back up to 1,000. 2, okay, I'll start paying attention now. We're in profit, right? At that point, you start paying attention. And once you tune into this cycle once, like you said, once you go through this cycle once and you feel through the roller coaster, and then you generally enter during this fear cycle part of it, and then you just wait and let everybody cry about how much money that they're losing. You don't look at that top number. On the other side, when the euphoria returns, everything returns into the markets, you start selling it slowly by slowly. And we'll go through the strategy a lot more. This is just an introduction to all this stuff. But that's the idea. But the thing that it's going to require is a few things. Number one, it is terrifying to take. Like, I got $1 million in the bank, and it's there. And when I check it, it's there. And I can go to sleep and I can check it, and it's still there. And to, first of all, move it out and put it in your own account in somewhere, that's just terrifying. That's just terrifying for most people. So you have to figure out what's your psychology, right? If you're an anxious person, you want to do this with measured reason. If you're like me, like, you know, you've been in this space for a long time and you can go 100% risk on everything and still be okay with it, then you pull out more. But the point is, pulling out that money is going to be super difficult. Then putting it into the market at the right time is a difficult part. And people think that's the name of the game. No, that's just one step in the game. And then being on the roller coaster is like, that is where you get tested and vetted. Okay? If you're somebody who got in during the hype of like November, December, and you bought the peaks of everything, and now you've ridden down to the troughs that we're at today, I can usually tell which one of my friends have done that because they stopped shaving. They stopped shaving. They look disheveled, and I see them and I'm like, "You okay? You got COVID 6 times or something? Like, what's going on, man?" And he's like, "Have you seen Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's down." And he's like, "It's at 30, bro. It's at 30." And I'm like, "Yeah, it was at 3 like 40 seconds ago, 2020, and now it's at 30." And they're like, "Yeah, but I put all my money into it." And I was like, "Where did you put it?" "I put it into a leveraged account. I gave it to a Celsius, and I borrowed 20% against it." And I'll be like, "You're an idiot. You took gold and you gave it to somebody, so they'd give you 20% of the gold or 50% of the gold. Now what happened? Now it's worth less. They're going to take my gold." And it's like, yeah, that's their business model. That's how they take all of your money. Whereas the rest of us were like, yay, we're like 2020. Hey, everybody get in. Everybody's like, no, we don't want to get in. We're like, okay, fine, we're going to get in. We got in. 2021, everybody's like, no, I want to get in. And we're like, no, we're getting out. You want to get in? Here you go. You can get in. I'm getting out. Okay. And then June of 2020, nah, this thing sucks. It dropped 50% in a day. Oh, you don't want it anymore? Can I have it? And I take it back at 50% discounts. And then wait until October and the data doesn't come in right. And I'm like, okay, well, we have money. Let's just lock the money in. Let's sit on the sidelines. Okay. And we sat on the sidelines and waited for everybody to go to 100K apparently. That didn't happen. Now we're way lower. Those same people are crying and ready to sell it at a loss and give it back to us. This is how you're going to lose most of your money. Okay. The other thing that's going on in this space, actually the only thing that this whole crypto market is a mind fuck. It's literally a mind fuck. It's literally a psychological game that's being played that tricks you into losing your own money, giving up your own money. It's either going to be trick you into buying shit that they tell you is valuable, and then one day the thing falls off of a cliff, you get lunaed, and now you have $0 and they took all the money. Or it's going to be convince you to buy it at the wrong time, mainstream media yelling from the rooftops, everything's going to crazy. At that point, they're going to convince you to buy it, and then they're going to scare the shit out of you when you go down, and they're going to convince you to sell it. That's it. That's the whole game. Okay? So where we are today, so this is the next stage of the internet. Okay? I just explained to you how these computers are hooked up, and they are the next stage of the internet. Every single thing around you is moving to this system. And I mean every single thing. Money, real estate, art, ownership of things, gold, oil, mines. Like we're literally, we have mines in Chile that are producing an income. So we're breaking them up into tokens, and we're letting everybody invest into these tokens. So we have money to make more money in the mines and buy more mines. And then some of the money that's coming out of the mines is going to be paid to the token holders who stake. So the people can own the value from mines in a click. So mines are being digitized physically. This real estate is going to be tokenized, digitized forever. Your mind is being digitized. We're building new universes that you can own pieces of. We're building new games. Literally, we like Gozi helps tens of thousands of people in Indonesia earn a living by playing video games. Metaverse is here. Value is already being generated. There's video games being played that have assets that are worth something because people want to play with them. We go buy the assets and we give it to somebody who doesn't have a job and go, play this game. Here's a $5,000 asset that you could never afford. Play this game. And they go, and do what? We'll pay you money. And I'm like, okay, you're going to take my attention, which was being wasted anyway, and I can't make Western money here. I'll play your games. Can I play 2? Can I play 3? They play 4 games, and they work like 6 hours in a day, and they're making Western grade income by just playing games. while the business owner who owns a business and is trying to sell you sandwiches is going broke. The person who bought commercial real estate in the middle of New York thinking this is by far the best investment that I could ever make is bankrupt because nobody's going to work in New York anymore. What's going on? If he's going bankrupt, the money's going somewhere. If the business owner is going bankrupt, the money's going somewhere. You know where it's going? Into that little kid's pocket who started mining Bitcoin 20 years ago. And that kid did nothing. Crypto heads, what do? Nothing. Nothing. What value do we add? Technically, nothing. We're just taking a massive risk on things which we think will be valuable for the world later on. That's what we do. And we just hold. And we just don't throw up in the ride. And we don't give up. And we just don't sell it until it's higher than where we found it. Because if you haven't been through one of these cycles, this place does not move like other places. This place is like up, down, grinding. Oh, worse, pain. You quit yet? You quit? Yeah, I've been here for 3 years. Quit. Look at how much lower it is. They're like, no, we're not quitting. And they're like, okay, is everybody done quitting? Does everybody hate the space? Yes. Boom. Is nobody looking? Great. Boom. 20x on Bitcoin in like 6 months. 20x on Bitcoin? That means hundreds of X's, thousands of X's on the rest of the space. But it's not growing 1,000x for no reason. It's growing 1,000x because the amount of value that the world knows this system's going to add is going to crush the value in the old system. As a matter of fact, the value is transferring from the old system over there. It's going from your bank account. If you want to invest or not, it's going from your bank account over there. Because either you do it, or that guy is going to print and give it to his buddies, and his buddies are doing it, and they're taking money from your bank account and they're putting it into the crypto space. Okay, that's what's actually going on. So should you be involved? Yes, you should definitely be involved. You should understand that your wealth is being destroyed at a certain rate, and calculate how much your wealth is being destroyed. I'll give you some numbers. If you have cash, it's negative 40% a year for the last 2 years. Okay, if cash is being at negative 40%. Oh, I have a stock portfolio. It's performing 11%. Yeah, but the denominator just dropped 40%. You're going up 11%, minus 40%. You are at 29% of wealth being lost with a perfect performance from stocks. Your real estate, some people are like, my real estate went up 25% last year. And I'm like, great. That means you lost minus 15%. You're losing less, but you're losing. And they're going to keep printing currencies at an inflating rate. So your actual loss in the traditional, your business, you invest $100,000 into a business, $200,000 into a shop, and the shop is, first of all, going to take you 12 years to break even on that $200,000 to make profit. And at the same time, it gets shut down and the world is screwed and nothing is moving. And at the same time, there's Ketut playing video games and he's making a shit ton of money. Ketut is crushing me with video games. What happened to this world? Pardon? And paying shitloads less tax. And having complete freedom. Ketut can do this from Switzerland now. Ketut has become a digital nomad overnight, right? So the world is changing. Value is changing. How value is generated is changing. How it's stored is changing. Great question. So land in this universe is limited, and land in that metaverse is unlimited. Most of the things that you invest in, the land is limited, in some capacity. Yeah, you can create infinite versions of them. Yeah. So that's a good point.
Unlimited supply, unlimited supplies.
I mean, it's unlimited supply of something that's supposed to be limited, right? That's why this idea of buying land in the metaverse is kind of stupid to me. Yes, land will hang around because it's the first one to come out, and Decentraland, you still have it. Have you ever been in Decentraland? Have you ever been there? You can go there, right? Yeah, we have parties there. Seriously, you put on a headset and you walk into Decentraland and you go hang out with people and you meet amazing people. So the value to me is I can go meet amazing technical people on this land, and this piece of land is owned by Snoop Dogg. Maybe Snoop Dogg will show up. Right? But yes, the limit. What humans always do is, like, when we go to a new technology, we don't understand it, so we just conceptualize it in the way that we understand. Right? The internet was called the information superhighway for a long period of time. It's not a highway. Who calls it an information superhighway today? Oh, grandma, get out of the room. Like, that's not what it is at all, right?
I have a little answer on that.
Yeah, you got to turn the mic on. Also, when you guys want to ask questions, we'll pass this mic around so the questions go to the recorder.
So if you think that, yes, so the real asset or the real land is unlimited, and and in metaverse unlimited, right? So how it's gonna be valued? The value that will be given is us, the people itself. If you see the land here in Bali, who gives the value? Like why Canggu has this kind of value? It's the people, right? So and the demand, like the supply and demand, it's exactly the same thing that will happen in metaverse. If there is a lot of gamers or people that doesn't want to go to that land because that land is just the soil is broken and I don't know, like the real land, so just want to go to the metaverse because everybody are going there. There's much more party. There's people. Literally, I have a friend. They cannot walk. They cannot walk and just go outside because they just cannot walk. It has accidents and stuff. So to be able to interact with other people in the metaverse with from other country, it's changing his world basically, right? So it's about supply and demand again. So who gonna control the limitation or unlimitation? Who knows? Like who controls this land? Like who supposed to be basically, So it was only 1 million per hour, and now it's like 200. It's the people itself. We gonna value that.
So think about this, right? Like thinking about value, what makes land valuable? That people want it, right? And what you can do on it. Right now, you could farm on it. You're going broke farming on it. You could build a building on it. It's not going well for the real estate people right now. Okay, it's limited, but like I can't really do much with it. Let's say I build a $400,000 house and I rent it for $2,000. That's 17 years for me to make my money back, right? Or I assume the property values will go up because people will want it. Hopefully that keeps going up forever, right? What makes Facebook valuable? Facebook doesn't produce any social media. They actually don't produce anything. They just produced a few websites and they're running the servers. How come Facebook's more valuable than the land, than the factories? It's because Facebook's value is generated from a concept called Metcalfe's law. And Metcalfe's law says when it comes to networks of humans, the value of the network goes up exponentially in the exponent of the number of users that are using it. Okay, it's a simple way of thinking about that. When you add one more user, it exponentiates the value. It doesn't go up. It doesn't go, one more user isn't worth $1 more. One more user is worth 10 times as much as what was there before, right? What gives Bitcoin its valuable? I mean, there's 1,000 other Bitcoins out there. How come Bitcoin is valuable and all those other 1,000 are going to zero? It's because of the number of people actually using the Bitcoin to do what it needs to do, which is store wealth and move wealth. So the amount of wealth stored and moved on Bitcoin, the actual work produced by Bitcoin, is way more than those other coins. Therefore, Bitcoin is more valuable. So yes, 1,000 people can create 1,000 metaverses, and they are. They're doing it as we speak. Most of them are not valuable because people don't want them, right? People aren't going there to actually be able to do stuff. But yeah, a digital piece of land sold for as much as PARQ. Actually, probably more than PARQ. It's a digital piece of land with nothing on it, nobody using it. It's because the world is they're just shoveling wealth into a place where the dollar can't destroy it. That's the big reason why this is happening. But yes, at some point, most of the land will become worthless. Some of the land will be valuable. And eventually the concept of land in a digital space will just completely become an archaic thing to do. Yeah. But I lost my train of thought. Yeah, okay, so most of the cryptos will go to zero. Most cryptos will go to zero that exist today. The vast majority of them will go to zero. 60% will guaranteed go to zero within the next 3 years. 30% of them probably won't go to zero, but I don't know if they're going to come back. 10% of them are going down, and then they're going to take over the world. And you are here before the governments and the sovereign wealth funds and Wall Street and everybody's allowed to enter this space, okay? Done correctly, this is the greatest wealth generation opportunity in history, because all wealth is being transferred from the physical real world, from real estate, from money, from bonds, from every single thing where the wealth is sitting, dollars, and it's transitioning to a new digital space, and it's being held in a place where we've stopped denominating ourselves in those dollars. We only denominate ourselves in the coins themselves. And between now and 2024 is going to be the hockey stick growth curve of this whole space. Between 2024 and 2028, the adoption is going to pretty much complete. Between 2028 to 2032 is when most of the late laggards are going to switch over to this technology at the highest rate. And by that time, they would have lost all their wealth. By 2025, people will have lost all their wealth from the banks anyway, so they don't even have the purchasing power to participate. And on the other side, the techies will have accrued all of the wealth. That's what's actually going on. You gotta take that leap of educating yourself in this space well enough to understand what's going on, and picking the right ones, and just not selling it lower than where you bought it. Okay, the best strategy in crypto is this: buy solid shit and don't sell it lower than where you bought it. 100% of anybody who's ever bought solid stuff in crypto would not have lost money if they just followed that strategy. It'll take you 2 years, 3 years to execute on, depending on where you enter. But within that time, if you just ride through the wave once, you'll do great. And we're going to go through the steps of like how to do all this stuff, how to enter, how to pick coins, all these things. That's the point of all this. But hopefully this is giving you an overview understanding of why this space is even valuable. This new way of hooking up computers together. They do new stuff, and they're exponential growth factors. And this is the next stage of the internet. And you're sitting here at the place where people think crypto is an A with a circle around it. Okay, that we're in the 1997 stage of this new internet. Okay, so now we're going to close off on that. Any other questions that we want to run by before we? Yeah.
Sorry, I just got one that's a bit topical at the moment. It's regarding exchanges.
Sorry, can you?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Other way, you can flip it around. Turn it upside down the other way. Yeah, that way. Yeah, that metal grill is
okay.
it.
Yeah, I've just got a question that's a bit topical at the moment about exchanges. So you went through and you mentioned banks and bank bail-ins and insurance, supposedly, that banks have. What about exchanges? Like, if an exchange goes bankrupt, you can get bailed in, right?
Yes.
And exchanges don't have any insurance either. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
like
fully...
if you had all your money on Celsius, your money's gone.
Yeah. And there's other ones they're talking about now as well that are a bit shaky, right?
So the only exchanges that are safe, according to my calculation, are Coinbase. I hate saying this, but Coinbase is the safest exchange in the world, but they're the most hasslesome to work with. They're the worst, but they are the best as far as going bankrupt. Even though it wasn't a coincidence that they released a thing saying, oh, guess what? Coinbase will bail you in when the market... And that is true. When Coinbase goes bankrupt, they can take all of your coins. But Coinbase is the best exchange safety-wise. For me, the only one I use is Kraken. The best one out there is Kraken. They're the least exposed to risk and the safest as far as I'm concerned. FTX, surprise to me, but FTX has switched all their liquidity over to the US dollar. So FTX is it. Other than those three exchanges, almost every other exchange is exposed to risk.
The Indonesian ones?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Indonesian ones less, because they're much more monitored in their capacity. But even the Indonesian ones, Pin2, be careful. Indodax, use it with measured reason. Toko Crypto is the safest one that I've found here yet that have the most amount of liquidity. But if you're like, this is where the radical self-responsibility part comes in. You should learn how to custody your own crypto at some point. Now, if you're a beginner, do not custody your own crypto. You are by far the biggest risk to your own money. Like, the single greatest risk to all of your money is you. You know who can lose all of your money? I know one person. I literally know one person who even has the access to lose all of their money. And it's you, right? So when you're a beginner, and I'm saying these things, and if you're not part of our communities, I focus on beginners because beginners make different mistakes than the crypto heads. Yes, self-custodying all of your crypto is the gold standard of making sure nobody loses your crypto. But if you're a beginner, that self-custody part of your crypto is usually the way that you lose the most amount of money, because you're going to click the wrong button and send it all the way to Santa, right? So yes, Coinbase, Kraken, and FTX are the safest exchanges. Even when they go down, they will still have your money on there. But most of the other exchanges, remember I didn't say Binance, most of the other exchanges, there's a risk that they'll just take all of your money and disappear. And at some point, when the risk gets high enough, we're going to leave Kraken, we're going to leave Coinbase, we're going to leave all of them and just pull away and self-custody and sit on the sidelines, let the bloodshed happen. As long as my money didn't get lost, I'm good. Because on the other side of the bloodshed are 99% discounts on this whole space.
Yep. Yep. Okay, thank you.
No worries. And where we are today is like, it's like March of 2020. The buying opportunity that exists today is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Things are down like 90, 95, 99%. And if you look around you, nobody wants to hold it, right? Nobody's asking you to buy crypto. That's the moment you go, I think now's the time for me to buy this thing, because nobody wants to buy it and they'll sell it to me at a massive, massive discount. But you do, if you do not have a written down plan, in life, you will not achieve it. You might grind your way through it like we always do in life, and we push and push and push. Things might happen. But if you do not have a written down plan, there's somebody out there who does. And their plan is to take all of your money. And they've strategized how to do it. And you're like, you know what crypto heads go? Most people in crypto go, they're like, oh, I bought some crypto. I was like, why? They're like, I just wanted to learn. And it's like, what you're telling me is, I just wanted to lose some money so I could learn lessons, so I could learn how not to lose money going forward. You know, whereas the people who I go like, so what's your plan? They're like, I don't know. I want to enter this space, but I don't know. I need a plan. So we go through and we build a plan, and then you execute the plan like a robot, and you keep your emotions completely away from this plan. And then your likelihood of not losing your money increases from 5% to like 10%. It's the truth. Because then you have a written down plan. Did you execute it? Did you actually do the thing that was written down? Right? So we're going to go through this. I think the next talk is about something else. And then after that, this series is going to go through the step-by-step processes that I use with people to help them build their own strategy. So if you just come to these, you will have all of that. Otherwise, if you want to watch it early, all this stuff is on my website, open for free. Go read it and go learn it. And then you can actually build your own plan from it. But if you're scared, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. This is how this thing goes. It is biblical collapses followed by insane, unbelievable rises, followed by biblical collapses, rinsed and repeated until you just get so sick of it that you exit. Okay? Or you're like us. You just get on, and you've been on this roller coaster for so long, you got an iron stomach, and somewhere down the road, when the times are good, when somebody tells me my gold is worth more than what it was, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money that my gold is worth today. At that point, like once every couple years or something, we sell it. Right? Thank you.
If you guys want to come to our group, there's a QR code.
Yeah.
Scan it, or you come to this group.
Can I actually scan that code?
Yeah, you can scan this one.
One is Telegram group.
This one's
one is
The one on the right or left? They're both.
this one's to get in touch with us. So if you want to like get in touch,
Yes.
then is this one. If you want to just join our community, it's this one. And even this one, we got to manually add everybody into the channel. Yeah.
To see you. I just want to say hello because I'm not going to be in Canggu anytime soon.
It's all good, brother. So next time when I'm here, let's hang out. Let's chill out.
Yeah,
Right?
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hungry, man. I'm doing my water fast.
Your energy. Oh, okay.